What's up, beautiful souls? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mamina. You can call me Mina for short. This is a collective reading, so make sure you only take what resonates to and for you. Not everything will resonate, but certain key things will. It's up to you to use your discernment and intuition to find out why you were led to click on this reading. We're going to be tapping into a Disney-inspired tarot deck, and then we're going to tap into my friend Maduk, my soul sister. We're going to tap into her deck to get some more clarification. This feels like a mix between a love reading and a soul journey reading. It's a little bit blended here, but we're going to find out what's going on. We're going to peep the energies deeper. I'm going to hop right on into it because I'm like on a time schedule right now. So let's just get right into it. But I'm picking up this energy of like, you know what? Whose face I keep seeing? I keep seeing Paris Jackson's face. So the other day, I saw an interview. I think it's old now, but it was Paris and Willow Smith, and Paris was talking about how she's focusing on her passions, and like right now, her passions is her music. And she's not really thinking of love or relationship. And a part of that is due to something she went through with her relationship. Now, it's not to dive all into her personal business, because I believe entertainers are not, public figures are not, their business is their business. But her face flashed in my mind as I was channeling this energy, which lets me know somebody here can relate to what she's saying, to what she was publicly making known. Right? So you might find that that's where you are right now. You've went through some type of disappointment. The heartbreak doesn't have to be love. For some of you, that's the case. But for many of you, it can just be disappointed in something that you felt that you put a lot of effort into and a lot of focus, and it just didn't pan out the way it was supposed to, whatever it may have been. It might have left you at some point feeling a little jaded, or feeling a little, you know what, I don't even want to risk going through that again. You might have had things that you were putting off. Let's say you want to do art. You might have been putting off your art. Let's say you wanted to learn more about a certain career, or and it could be anything. The sky's the limit to what it is. This isn't a personal reading, so let whatever comes to your mind intuitively come in. And you know that you wanted to focus on it in the past, and you didn't because of this other thing, person, place, whatever. And now that that situation has ended, you're realizing, you know what, instead of me sitting here wallowing, I can redirect my focus and channel in more with this, with what my passion is. And I keep hearing that word, and I believe that's how she referred to music for herself. But for you guys, it could be anything. So by this being Thursday, Jupiter energy, this could be related to some type of work or something that could bring in profit. Okay? You put it aside for other people due to certain circumstances that were supposed to go one way, they didn't, and so now here we are. So what I'm really hearing already is don't focus on the negative, focus on the positive. We have, we have Three of Swords. What I love about using these type of decks, the characters give a whole new perspective. And in my case, I don't just go by the Disney references of these tales or stories or anything like that. I like to go by the origin of them, which most people don't really know the origins of a lot of story. But the interesting thing about this card being Pocahontas is, near the end of her life, she did go through heartache and suffering. So the question most would have when looking into her story is, well, was her decision, the decision she made at the time, the things that she sacrificed at the time, at the end of the day, was it worth it? Considering that she had kids and she was able to leave a legacy, some might say yes, some might say no. I feel like this is indicating that whatever that heartbreak might have been, it could have very well have been a sacrifice that was made with love in mind. So this might have been, I'm leaving my hometown to be with the person that I was, blah, 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 blah. You get the storyline. Or it could have been, I love my parents and I sacrificed being with the person I love because I wanted to please my parents. Whatever the example is for you, something was given up. And that thing that was given up, when you look back at it and you look at where you are now, you're debating sometimes if it was worth it because it didn't pan out the way that it was supposed to, be it a relationship, a connection with family, whatever. But what Spirit's trying to get you to understand is those things, though they were based on your choices and those people's choices and actions, as you know, we have our own personal decisions and actions, but it still plays into the collective, right? How our family reacts to us doing things and etc. plays on our emotions and therefore plays in what we manifest. You're being told that if you redirect your focus, which you're already in the midst of doing, or at least some of you who resonate with this are already in the midst of doing, you start to manifest a different outcome this time around. Perhaps the lesson you needed to learn was you were giving up and not setting proper boundaries. You were giving up your real passions and what you really wanted to do. And you thought, or at least you tricked yourself into believing it was for the right reasons. But honestly, it might have been because a part of you was afraid of really dreaming that big or going that far, right? You know, you might have said to yourself, well, I really want to be with someone else, but they're out of my league. So let me just settle for this guy or girl. And the result that you have is what you settled for. Instead of beating yourself up about that, instead of feeling guilty about that, redirect your focus. Learn from that experience and redirect your focus. So for some of you, this does involve love. And for others, it's just choices, right? It's up to you to see what those choices were. And look at that. We have, and I'm wearing Belle nails at this moment. My nails are painted with Belle. And here's Belle. This adds a lot more energetically as well. What was I just talking about with learning something new, right? This is a personal soul journey, soul development for you. Yes, you're diving your nose into learning some type of craft. For some of you, I do see you as bookworms. I see you guys looking into, because maybe what you were interested in isn't how it doesn't work the way it used 2 years ago. So you're trying to like refresh your mind on what you knew, but also learn all of the new points to it. So this could be you wanting to start your own business. This could be you wanting to maybe you want to be a teacher, whatever it is, you need to refresh yourself on it because it's been a long time since you've studied it, been a part of it, looked into it. It's like art or anything else. You have to put it into practice. I feel like these passions, and again, I'm seeing Paris's face. Someone might live in Paris. Someone's name might be Paris. Paris may hold significance. Perhaps what you're looking into is traveling. Things are lightening up again soon. People are going to be able to, travel. There may be some restraints here and there on how they can go about it, but it's going to start to pick up again. And with that happening, you might say to yourself, I always wanted to travel the world and I put that off. Now I want to tap back into it. Let me learn all that I need to learn about that country or that place or that thing. So if going to Paris is something you want to do, maybe you're studying French right now, right? You're all like, parlez-vous français? You're trying to brush up on it. So France or Paris or that name may have significance because it keeps coming around. And also with this being Belle, what's standing out to me, again, there's a benefit when things are channeling in and resonating to knowing like, okay, yeah, the Disney story, but then knowing the real story. What's interesting, if you look at this from the Disney perspective for a second when it comes to Belle, what really made Belle interesting? It wasn't that she was a beauty. She was the only person in that town, the only woman in that town that didn't want to be like everyone else. She didn't want to just get married and she don't need to know nothing. She doesn't have to be full of knowledge because that's her husband's job and blah, blah, blah. You can be masculine or feminine and resonate with this. It's like you're coming from a town, especially if you want to travel. You could be coming from a place where it's like everybody does the same thing. Okay, everyone that lives here is going to be a registered nurse. Everybody that lives here becomes a doctor or a lawyer or this or that. They all work at a convenience store. They all go to McDonald's, da-da-da-da. This is what they do. And that just doesn't sit well with you. You settled for that for as long as you can. You inspire to be different. You inspire to express yourself differently. You might have had people looking at you funny because of that. Like, oh, you think you're special. Or, oh, you just want to be extra. But in reality, you're just trying to live your destiny. Y'all who are used to my channel, you always hear me talk about the fated path versus destiny. One is like a constant, consistent, same scenario every day. Nothing really changes, so we shouldn't really be shocked if this all goes to hell, right? And we might still be shocked to the degree that it gets there, but it's kind of predictable it was going to get there at some point. It's like in a fight. If you hit a person long enough, the chances are eventually they'll hit you back. Whether or not they can beat your ass is debatable, right? But are they going to hit you back? Probably. Well, it's kind of like that. If you're living in the same town and you know that everybody in that town gets the same set of jobs, goes about life the same set of way, what are the chances of you being different in that town? So it's like you wanting to get out of it. That's how Belle felt. Belle didn't want to be like everybody else in her town. She wanted to read books. She wanted to travel. She wanted to get involved in different activities and things. And so to do that, she had to learn. Whereas all the other women in that time period, because it's not just about her story, the time period in which she set in, it just wasn't normal to have women be very knowledgeable on an intellectual base. Not that they weren't naturally, but it's like, you don't need to know to read. For what? To read? Why? You know what I'm saying? This is how I feel you are. And again, this is whether you're masculine or feminine. If you're feminine, you may resonate with it just a little bit more, but masculine is the same thing. It's like everybody in your town goes about life the same way. All of the friends do the same activities, and it's not just that it's boring, it's draining. And so now you want to expand your mind and come out of that space. You want to go further. You want to feed your imagination. Feed your, what's the word I'm looking for here, Spirit? What's the word I'm looking for? There it is. Curiosity. You want to feed your curiosity. Now, this is interesting because now the energy I'm getting with this. Also, first of all, notice how Puss in Boots is like pointing the sword at Belle. And Page of Swords not only represents, possibly good messages coming through, but it represents information. Wanting to learn something or observe something, getting intel and detail on something. So from that aspect, I feel like it relates to you. You might have been researching something. Perhaps you sent in an application. Perhaps you turned in something for a passport and you're about to get good news about it, because a passport involves you handing over your information, those people running it, doing whatever they got to do, printing it on the little joint, and then sending it to you. You see what I'm saying? So like if this involves traveling for you and you've been like, dang, I don't know if my passport is going to get approved. Maybe it's your first time, getting one. Then you may be hearing good news about that. When it comes to other aspects of it, I feel like it relates to the Eight of Pentacles in the sense of you learning a new skill, you brushing up your knowledge and putting it into practice, because that's the thing about the Eight of Pentacles. The Page kind of just observes, absorbs the knowledge, receives the message, gives the message. But the Eight of Pentacles in this aspect puts the skills that are known to practice. So it's kind of like as you're studying, you're also doing something. You know how like some of us are visual learners or we learn by hand? I feel like that's what you're doing. As you are learning about this, you're putting it into practice somehow, even if it's about traveling. Maybe you're like watching foreign movies or something to keep yourself fresh with what it is. And that's why I'm also picking up someone. France is important here. We got Belle sitting here, Paris Jackson, like her name keeps flashing in, her face keeps flashing in. It's something about that place or something about going overseas or doing something international. When learning another language, even if it's a language like me, I would have to brush up on my French, right? So if you're learning a language and you're able to speak it or listen to music or observe it at that time, it keeps you in the practice of it. And that's what the Eight of Pentacles is about. And the Page is saying you're able to do this so intuitively and so gracefully because you're curious about it. But I'm also sensing someone is curious about you. Now, I don't know if you go into a library like, Belle, and sitting somewhere, you reading a book and somebody's seeing all these books that you check out and they're like, wait a minute, I got to know more about this person. Like, I've never seen anyone interested in this way or putting this much focus into it. Some of you could be interested in a lot of, your metaphysical interests are very broad but detailed. So it's kind of like if you're into knowing about aliens, you don't become fanatic with it, but at the same time, you're not, I like aliens, but I don't know nothing about them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, something, like, Pleiadians, for example, can come in multiple skin textures. They're not just one skin tone or one hair grade, right? You know that, for example, people who vibrate with the star cluster of Sirius or maybe reborn from that star cluster are people who always feel like they have unfinished business. This is information that whether it be intuitively or because you've researched it, and you take your research beyond just somebody else's work. You take it beyond. Somebody is able to observe you do this, and they're being intuitively led to you. So they're curious. Now, this doesn't have to necessarily be romantic because, like I said, many of you feel like you're not interested in love right now. Perhaps this will become love later. But this could be a person that may be able to mentor you. This could become a really powerful friendship, an international friendship. For others, this could be both of you kind of mentor each other. Like there's some things or perspectives you have they didn't have, and vice versa. And it's all coming together in this moment in this meeting. So I'm hearing, be open, use your intuition. Don't change wanting to work on yourself or advancing your journey for nobody. But if somebody's coming in and you feel like you can learn from them and your intuition is saying, okay, go with the flow for this for a minute, then test it out and see where it goes. But this person's really curious about you. Okay. I think we're going to do 2 more cards and then... Oh, we have Ace. Look at that. Ace of Wands. And look who it is. We have a Beauty and the Beast reference back again. Somebody could be dealing with, whether your counterpart is male or female, somebody could be dealing with a kind of like a Beauty and the Beast scenario a little bit, where the masculine seems a bit more aggressive, or especially if they feel confined, if they were a certain way in life and they started suffering for that. That's again the thing to take from the story when it comes to Beast is Beast wasn't that good when he was just a man, right? He was pretty basic. He was pretty typical spoiled prince. And then he becomes this beast. And now he not only has to realize, oh my God, I got myself in this situation, but at the same time, he finds his own self repulsive. So now he just wants to push everyone away. Don't nobody look at me. Don't nobody embrace me. Blah, 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 right? And what happens? The divine feminine, Belle, comes in, and because she's not like everyone else, she's able to see past all of that. And she also doesn't tolerate his rudeness. She don't care if he was a beast or not. She was like, you're not going to talk to me any old kind of way. All right. You're not going to sit up here and be growling at me for nothing. And that made him have to rethink how he handled things, because she knew when to be gentle and she knew when to be stern. So you could be dealing with counterparts like this, where somebody's kind of like in their feelings all the time due to something they may have done, but it's kind of like, everybody has to stay away from me, or I'm going to just treat everybody mean because I don't want people to get close. Close people hurt you, da da da. And you're the only person that can seem to get close. That could be someone you're dealing with right now. Perhaps this type of connection isn't quite going in the direction of love first, but your friendship can change a lot about them, and they can change a lot about you. I feel like for whoever this is for, the both of you are on this soul journey of healing yourselves. I'm seeing like 5 of Cups, but I'm seeing it in my head in reverse. So it's like both of you are realizing it doesn't make sense to cry over the past when you can just heal it and evolve. And maybe you're doing that with each other. So you don't need to rush it. It doesn't need to turn romantic right now. They're just focus on what you can learn and let your intuition take you the rest of the way. Okay. Let's go. Let's get deeper in the story. Too many cards are trying to fall out at once. Look at that. We have the High Priestess. I'm going to move this over. I feel like this is also confirming that other person that's feeling drawn to you, that's curious about you. It's like you're mysterious to them. You probably don't talk a lot, or if they do sit down with you and you guys are talking, especially if they're a person that you could see yourself being interested in, but you're trying to avoid it, you probably keep things at a very platonic friendship level. But there's just this energy to you and to the things that you know, even if this is meant to be platonic. It's just something about you that makes them so curious, the mystery of you, the knowledge that you tend to have. It's like you're both here to mentor each other, or you're both here to contribute something really important to each other's lives. This really feels like an important connection, be it friend or lover. At the same time, intuitively, no matter how much you might try, again, that beast mentality, like I'm trying to put up a wall of sorts, intuitively you guys are being led to each other. So I feel like the High Priestess has multiple meanings here. Someone's really inspired by you. And I feel like your passions and your desires that you're now putting into action, because the Ace of Wands confirms everything I was picking up from the Eight of Pentacles. It's confirming this. I want to act upon these things I'm learning. I want to now do all the stuff I couldn't do or wouldn't do in the past. I've learned my lesson and now I want to do all that. The Ace of Wands is about manifesting what you truly desire. And the only way you can do that with the Ace of Wands is through action. The sword is forged in the fire. That's been a common thing that I've been channeling to say on a regular basis now, right? So that fire that you're lighting in your belly, in yourself, it's forging a new path for you. It's opening a new road. Fated versus destiny, right? whoever's observing this, could be close friend already, is highly intuitively drawn to you and inspired by you. And I feel like you'll recognize this person because it'll be like an exchange, right? It'll be a fair exchange of energy. I'm starting to get hot too, so we're on the money. I'm hearing getting to know you, getting to know all about you. Yeah, like that's what I'm hearing. This person is like, I just want to know more about you. You're so mysterious. I'm so curious. You could be cross-watching. You could feel like these positions are reversed, and this can be confirmation on what's going on for the person that you're interested in. You know, take it how it resonates for you. Here we go again with another Beauty and the Beast reference. Here we go again. Beauty and the Beast is back again, and this time it's the rose. Clarity and focus. Your focus has been redirected. As this progresses, as you continue to work on yourself, as the connection with whoever this is comes into fruition more, everything will be made clear. There's success here. There's success in your life. Like I've been telling you guys for a minute, prosperity is trying to come into people very strongly right now. So it is so important to pay attention to where your focus is going and what you're putting your time and effort into. Don't settle. This is not the time for settling, because people have like a mixed idea of what settling even means in the first place in this generation, or in the last couple of decades, if we were to be honest. Don't just settle. Put in the work. Do the work. Eight of Pentacles is about doing the work, putting the skills into practice and learning more as you do it. That's what's important right now. Let that curiosity fly, right? Let yourself explore. And and as this person, again, for some of you, I feel like this person hasn't popped up yet. They will. And when they do, you can feel free to come back and be like, I met that person, yay! And for others, this is someone that you're aware is watching, you've had interactions with, but you're kind of guarded a little bit. You're not, your heart isn't open to look at them in a romantic sense. But romance is sort of trying to come through. I just feel like at first this relationship is going to be more of a friendship, helping each other. And if it grows into something else over time, that's a beautiful thing. But I feel like you've learned your lesson as far as putting all of your hopes and dreams on the back burner. You now know that if you're going to have a partner, you rather it be a partner where both of you know when to compromise and you know how to encourage each other and be inspired by each other. That's what I love about the Ace of Wands being here, because it's saying not only are you inspired and focusing on your passions and putting action behind it, but they're also inspired by you. You could be inspiring them to take certain actions as well. They might have been sitting on some things themselves. All right, so that's really, I'm loving the energy here. I do feel like this is more so of a personal reading for something. And look at that, Wheel of Fortune, boom. And this is one of my favorite characters. I just love him. This is the energy that you need to keep as this cycle that you're going through spins. Fortune is coming in here. Where you need to be. And look at that. Look at the word that's on there. Destination. Traveling. For some of you, this is legit traveling. This is like choosing a career or something that takes you around the world. It takes you places. And I'm feeling like you just need to meditate and just need to hone in on self. We have Strength card and Justice card, which I didn't even notice fell by the side of me. And I was just talking about, like, you know, meditation and all that, clarity and truth. Meditating on your power, having courage to act upon your dreams is very important right now. Justice is on your side. The scales are in your favor, in other words. Everything's balanced in your favor. Oh my gosh, my speech is getting so wet. Let's get some cards from this last deck right here. I'm loving this energy. There was definitely a lot of Beauty and the Beast references here. Look at that. Set boundaries. You've learned the power of the word no. And if you haven't, you're being told to. I don't know why everything is turning into a musical, but I'm going to go with it. Set boundaries. I feel like most of you are like, shoo, child, you don't got to tell me twice. I know. But for others, it's still a challenge. Yes, you're focusing on your dreams. Yes, you're learning about them. But remember, where Focus goes, energy flows. So be very mindful of if people are kind of taking you off of your balance or taking you out of source with your energy. Okay, be mindful of that. Don't let somebody drag you down. If you got work that you need to do and somebody puts, and this happens to me all the time. If you are working on something and nobody cared to check your schedule, but they pop up and want to place something on you to do, they know that they can't do your job. They can't say, okay, while you take a break from that and I stay home, let me do the work that you do yourself. They can't do that. But they're quick to drop a last minute ball on you with no proper preparation. If you want to say no, if you want to set a boundary, do it. No, I have work to do. I have something I need to focus on. I feel like this is really for a person that was used to constantly, I'm going to pause what I'm doing for someone else. I'm going to pause what I'm doing for someone else. And now you're looking at where you are in life and you're like, I don't want to be here around all these people doing the same thing, living in the same cubicle type lifestyle every day. What the hell am I doing here? This doesn't even feel right. Change your focus, set your boundaries. What I love about this character is how happy this character is. If you watch Frozen, you know what I'm talking about. Being in this type of energy, this gratitude energy, this happy energy, this blissful, it helps to bring around the people that you really need. And it helps to bring in the situations and circumstances that you can really benefit from. Okay, so the Wheel of Fortune is about old cycles ending so that new ones can begin. And those new ones that begin tend to want to come in with many blessings. You just have to remember to vibrate with them. Okay, the Strength card is saying continue to have the courage to do what it is that you need to do. Hercules stood up to every challenge. So if something presents itself as a challenge, instead of worrying about it, it's like, what's the solution? Let me think about the solution. Okay, how can I put the solution in practice? All right, I might be missing a couple of components, but how can I work with what I got? Because justice is on your side. The scales are bent in your favor. You will have clarity on this. I feel like this justice card, this truth card was also about a personal truth. Like you had a question. Somebody here had a question, I'm sensing, and you were wondering, and the justice card is coming in as that answer. It's saying, as long as you stick to truth, as long as you focus on when the truth is revealed, not trying to change it in any sense, that clarity will bring you justice in the situation. So whatever that was or whatever that was about, that's the answer that you got from that. Look, we have plan your career. Boom. Plan your career. If that ain't the Eight of Pentacles and everything I've been saying, some of you are already doing this. Others who are maybe procrastinating, it's time to strategize. It's time to say, okay, this is this milestone. When I hit it, boom, I go here. And don't try to have all of your milestones necessarily be like super close to each other. If timelines kind of like trip you out, sometimes it's good to have a timeline set in your mind. Sometimes it's not. Be flexible. I always say that. Give the divine and the universe a chance to flex on you. Don't put yourself in a cubicle. But as you're working on stuff and you set goals, sometimes you're going to want to hit one goal first before you move on to the next. Sometimes when you know that something's about to be successful, it's easy to want to jump ahead and go, oh, I already know that's going to be successful, so let me just hop on and work on the next goal while this one's going. No. One goal at a time. And as you're able to handle that and the momentum picks up, you'll learn how to gradually be able to do like multitasking. Because I feel like some of you might have a challenge with multitasking. And you tend to kind of put too much on your plate. So you're being told, plan it. Get a plan in order. Let's see, let's get one more card and then we'll call it for this one. We have level up, start small. What was I just saying? Boom. Level up. Start small, start today, just start. The sky is the limit. No procrastination. No more sitting around. As you're learning about what it is, you can put it into practice. You don't have to say, okay, I'm just learning, so let me not make any moves on what I'm learning right now. No. As you learn it. If you're learning French, listen to Celine Dion. Watch French movies. Watch French interviews. Do whatever you got to do to get your ear and your tongue used to saying the words, used to, hearing the sound and the differences in the accents, right? Whatever, French is the example here because it keeps channeling in, but it could be any language for you, right? It could be English for you. You could be watching this with subtitles and you're like, holy crap, I was just saying to myself, I need to know English. Whatever it is, these these are the advices. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. I pray that that helped you, that it gave you the clarity and guidance that you need for your situation. I appreciate you being here. If you wish to do any type of energy exchange for these collective readings, you can do so via my Cash App and my PayPal. Link is in the description. Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls.